Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of SAFC Fan TV Extra Time. Last one before Christmas, I believe. Joining us on the stream tonight, or on the podcast night even, we've got Mike. Mike, how are you doing, mate? How's your Christmas shopping going?
All right. I've not quite gone fully grey yet, but give me another 2 days of shopping and that'll be there. But yeah, other than that,
are you not all in yet? You should be all in sorted now, man.
Almost. Waiting for an every delivery, so that could come some point next year.
That'll come next Christmas. Next Christmas. Also on the podcast night, we've got Mr. Conrad Lee. Conrad, evening, mate. How are you doing?
The beauty of me is I can't go grey. I suppose that's one thing. I suppose I can lose the colour in my beard at that point, but going ginger to grey doesn't really sort of benefit either way.
Yes, I'm in that kind of half stage at the minute.
I find a grey one every now and again. I'm like, ooh, I'm becoming a silver-haired fox at the age of 33. So that's the hope, really.
Oh dear me. Nice
I started going grey at 23, so you're doing well.
Oh, that's all right. The baldness came in at like 16, but the rest of it's all right.
That was feel better. Anyway, just to start off with a bit of news. I don't know whether you've seen tonight, but the referee has been announced for the derby game. It's Mr. Craig Pawson.
Which one's he?
I'll just give you his record. So he's played 13. We've won 1. We've drew 3 and we've lost 9. So that's a great start for the
that's him. Right, okay.
He's an absolute knacker.
As soon as I saw his face, I knew who it was. Yeah.
Can we not just have Andrew Madley, the one who isn't allowed to ref a Prem game, but is like the best one outside of the Prem?
But he's the fourth. He's the fourth official.
Oh, hopefully Craig Pawson pulls a muscle then or something. Yeah. Like at least, I remember when we were in League One. At least when Andrew Madley was your ref, you went. At least we've got a Premier League ref who's just not allowed to ref in the Premier League. Like that was the one good thing about him.
The guys give out 42 yellows in 9 Premier League games.
Yeah, he's an absolute.
For context, do you have the list of 9 games there?
No, just says.
No.
Oh, hang on. Well, it says individual teams, so 3 of them were City games, 2 were Everton games, 2 were Bournemouth games.
I was thinking maybe if he'd got like Tottenham and Chelsea game
where
it was just mental.
The Wolves game, he gave out 10 yellows.
What was that about?
Wolves with who?
I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says Wolves. Anyway, yeah.
Good.
Fun.
But if it's that one where Onana clattered somebody at the beginning, then I could understand it as well.
But weren't we saying Ballard was on the yellow card limit nearly?
I think he's on 9. He might be past that by the time we get to Newcastle.
Have we got to that stage yet? Like, for me, I don't think yellow cards or anything like that should transfer across. Sorry, I'm trying to look up Craig Pawson at the same time. Should transfer across competitions. So the best example I can think is Nick Pope last season when he got sent off in the Premier League. He shouldn't have missed the final for the Carabao Cup. It's very harsh to do that, considering that if he'd have got sent off in the final, they would have made him wait until the round of Carabao's next season and said you missed that game. So it's one of them that's like, if you booked in a competition, change the rules for that competition. So if Ballard's on, it's hard to be on 9 yellow cards in your first game in the FA Cup, but from history of games, you do it through that, don't you? And just do it with like a 4-year period or something.
I'm sure.
I
think he's reffed one of our games in the last couple of months, and I'm sure he gave the same like 8 or 9 yellow cards in that game. I think he's just an absolute.
I'll have a Google.
I'm sure he's one of those that's a proper job's worth, and it's more for talking back to him.
He looks one.
Yeah, more for like talking back to him and stuff like that, instead rather than actual fouls. It's like
So is that what we need in a derby game? Probably not.
That's the thing. In a derby game, you actually want someone who's had a game before, like in the big games.
I'm putting a bet on now for 3 red cards in the derby.
Luke won 9 3 times. So it's not the best start of the weekend, but on to tomorrow. And I went on the show last night, Mike. You've got in Bale we trust there.
Yeah, well, they're staying up. Until I don't trust him anymore.
Imagine if one just fell off while you were talking.
It's a sign.
Yeah. Apparently, Craig Pawson, he did Everton and Fulham the other night. He did Luton, Man City. I'm trying to think of other games that are a bit controversial. Oh, actually, he did Chelsea and Brighton the other week, which had 9 cards in it.
Oh,
So that was the big. He did the Chelsea. He was 4th official of the Chelsea Man City one. So I don't know if they count for his sort of tallies. You know, the 4-4. That was a sort of high cards game, if I remember rightly. No reds, but no further history though. I couldn't see for us.
No, it's not. Let's say it's not. It's not what you want to hear. You know, when you get that for a
I mean, it's better than Michael Oliver. Let's be honest.
Well, he is a mug, isn't he? So,
yeah, exactly.
You want somebody who's going to let the game flow, didn't you? You know, it was going to be a bit not lenient, but you know, not stupid either.
Did anybody watch the training videos of Beale this week? I'll see a few of them. Yeah. What did you think?
Well, like we said on the show last night, I didn't want them, and I'm not impressed at all. And the Rangers fans on my channel have been slating to say he's a gruffer, he's a bullshitter, he's a liar. But when I've seen the videos of him on the training pitch, he actually looks decent.
So this is the thing. This is what I was saying in the one the other day.
He can't really bullshit people on a training ground, can he? So
no.
He will judge on results. So, but from what I've seen of him on the training ground videos, he looks decent. I don't know what your thoughts are.
But then again, Lillian Leslaunder's bullshitted us on a training ground for a season and a half. Like, so
Rangers fans have got it in for him. That's as simple as that. Yes. They've got it in for him. He was an assistant manager there for like 5 years, and then he managed there for like a year, over 2 seasons. And he had a better record than the 5 managers before him. So I don't know how they can slate him so much.
Is it just the it's the Celtic thing, isn't it? When you're in a league like that, if you don't beat Celtic at all, I think you're off to a losing start already, aren't you?
Yeah, but Celtic have been up there the whole time while they've dropped down and had to climb back up.
That's the one harsh bit. It's Postecoglou's Celtic at that time, which was following Rodgers' Celtic, which had only been unseated as champions once, and that was under Gerrard before they went to, was it Van Bronckhorst, before they went to Beale as well. So, and even Gerrard's one was like a freak season, really, like where they everything just sort of came up trumps. It's
but Beale was his assistant manager.
Yes, and then went to QPR, I think, and then
Villa. Didn't he go to Villa? He was Villa's assistant manager with Gerrard as well. What do you know?
Am I making this up that he was at Liverpool as well at one point?
Yes, he was the youth. He was in the Liverpool youths, and that's where Gerrard first met them when Gerrard was coaching the under-18s at the time, and that's where the first link was. Then when he got the job at Rangers, he took Beale with him. So
it's just the videos I've seen look like the training sessions that they were deliberately filming were all about breaking lines and shooting, which is the one thing. Yeah, crosses into the box and getting shots on goal, which is literally all we've been sort of stating for weeks on end is the thing that we don't do. We don't get crosses in for the strikers, and we don't actually give it to the strikers to have a shot on goal. Or when we do give it to them, they get one chance a game, miss it, and that's it. They're out of the team for the next 6-7 weeks. So I think maybe he's come in and identified that's the issue straight away. He even said, I think, in one of those, I'm so glad they didn't do it like the Simon Grayson one, but you know, the one where he stood at the front talking to them with his PowerPoint on the wall. It was so nice just to hear him just go, almost like, I don't need to tell you how to play football. I don't need to do this. You're already fantastic. I've got some ideas on how I can get this sort of to sort of move on. Yes, but you're already great players. And I was sitting there going, oh, thank God he hasn't come in and just been like, well, you're a shit and I'm here to make you better. Like, he's come in and probably just sort of gone, well, I know they're good. Like, you've got Jack Clark, you've got Patrick Roberts, you've got other great players in there. Why would I ever come in differently? So I'm glad he didn't come in with like an ego trip, which maybe Will still might have. Like, that's the only thing that I could have said is he had a bit of character about him, and I don't think it was a proper ego, but it's he wouldn't have settled for the Speakman rule. Whereas I think Beale's like, I can work with it and just do what I do with players rather than kick up a fuss. But see, De Zerbi kicking off with Brighton though, for the same reason.
But for him, this has got to be his managerial push now, because obviously he managed Rangers for a year and he's been slated there. So this is his last opportunity at a big club to make an impact, sort of thing. Because if he completely flopped here, his next job's going to be, you know.
Yeah. And I think he knows that. He knows that now. I think Nick Barnes asked him.
He'd have to do a Jack Ross and youth it up again until it gets a chance later on.
Yeah.
He knows that. He knows he's got a point to prove. And I think I think the Rangers kind of thing, I mean, he left there 11 weeks ago. So the squad that's there now, they've just won the cup of the weekend. So there must have been his players that he signed that won the cup of the weekend, I'm guessing.
Did he really only leave 11 weeks ago?
Right. In October, he was sacked there.
Jeez, I didn't think it was that recent. I'm just loading up his win percentage now.
71%.
Yeah, you're right. 72% at QPR. It was 40%, pretty much 41%. He won 31 out of 43 games at Rangers.
But lost the big ones, and that's why the Rangers fans slip.
Well, that's it. I think the 8 that he lost, I'd imagine most of them were Celtic, considering I think don't they play each other 4 times a season?
Yeah, it was over 2 seasons, and I think one of them was a non-league game, so I think it was only 3, because he has beat Celtic once.
Right.
His record against Celtic itself is 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses.
Right. Okay. So half of his losses at Rangers were Celtic.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, his record against Sunderland under 21s is 3 wins and 2 losses. So.
So we'll wait and see tomorrow. I think he did say in his press conference that he's not going to change too much, just put his own kind of spin and tweaks on things. So
at this time of year, you don't want to be ripping up the foundations, do you? You just sort of go, I'll do this, and then you sort of, a bit like Johnson did when he came in, he was just sort of trying to give them a bit more license to sort of, I know it was bullshit what he was saying, but get in the box, Pomo and all that he was getting in for, and just sort of like, you know, you can score by this position, you score by this. And then as it got later on in the season, when we had that terrible run of 1 win in 11, that's where the wheels started to come off. Whereas when he started, I think he just sort of went, I'm just going to sort of build on what they have. But I mean, Rob Edwards did that at Luton, got on promoted. Who else did it? Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest, 2 seasons ago, came in October, took him up. Michael Carrick nearly did it last season with Borough.
Yeah,
just sort of, you know, it can happen. It'd be interesting if he does work out like Mike says. I think it's going to be his sort of, this is it now. If you get sacked, people think you already ran away from QPR where it was going all right and you were making a name for yourself, to go to a job that was too much for you, to go to a job that could be too much for you.
I mean, the Rangers thing, I think the Rangers fans slating for his signing, like, I think Mike, you were saying, I think he signed a lot of older players where here he's not going to have the option. He's the head coach, he's coming to coach, he's not going to be dealing with signings, so that might work in his favor.
Signings they've made, let's have a look.
Do you think Beale will have any input into the transfer window? Well, I think that's all predefined. I know we'd say Mowbray didn't, but obviously he had a bit because Dak came in.
I think he said something today that there might be room to spend money in January, but he doesn't need to spend a great deal, because what he's already seen, he's got the tools to work with. Just needs to tweak little things. Obviously, we need a striker, or can he get these strikers scoring goals?
They won't get a striker. We've got 4 of them. Like, they're not going to get a striker.
The latest rumor is 2 different strikers.
There's one from
both young at the moment, and a Japanese one, who's scored 17 times in 41 appearances. So it's not a great record for a striker.
There's a guy from Seville and all of the young lads from Seville.
Yeah, but what he does need to get is an experienced goalkeeper. I think we touched on that on Thursday.
I've literally never heard of any of Rangers' signings that they've made there. A couple of youngsters from English teams. He took a player from QPR with him, Leon Balogun, a centre-back. And then the other ones are from MLS or Europe. I've never heard of them, but a couple of them each.
wasn't Balogun something like 30 odd though, and like a 34, 35 or something when he signed him?
Let me have a look. Does it have his date of birth? No, just his contract, so I don't think he's that young. He's 35, yeah, you're right. And they only signed him in the summer.
I thought he was a decent age. I thought he was, but
a decent age. No, not if you speak, man.
No, that's the internet. If you speak him, so
I've got a new contract for you. You'll love it. It's called Retirement Home.
One that's mentioned on an article I was reading was Scott Hogan from Birmingham. His contract's due up in the summer. So someone like that is a bit more experienced at this level.
Close to 30-year-old, isn't he?
He could find the net. This is the thing.
Like Conrad says, I just really can't see us.
They're not going to, I don't think they'll go for a striker. I think they'll go for someone in the midfield, more of a sit-in player, because Ekwar's not been the same since his dead leg. And we don't seem, Corey Evans, I don't know if he's alive or not. I saw him give Tony Mowbray a cake, and then Tony Mowbray's gone. I don't know. It's just, and Dan Neal's not a sitting player. Job's box to box, and it just doesn't seem to be a position that we're very.
Tetia's back from injury.
I just don't see him. It might be me. I just don't see it based on the impact last season, where we were literally players for falling away, and we still went off you go.
No, see you
see in a bit, and we could have recalled him as well for a month, and we still didn't. It says quite a lot.
Jermaine Defoe, player coach, one last dance.
Second last dance.
Last dance.
Honestly, I saw the other week when he was I wouldn't mind managing.
I'd have him as a striker coach.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You know,
I don't know. Those 6 games he played in League One made me go, "Oh Christ!"
Did he get fed?
I'm getting out of it.
No, not written. He didn't get fed or do it himself. So I think both axes had gone.
Aye, but on a striker coach, Michael Proctor, is he the right man to have as a striker coach based on his record? What he was when he was playing?
I don't know what this might be coming from. When I was only about 13 at the time when we had Michael Proctor, and I remember just thinking, like, it was one of those things when you're a kid, you just think if they're not Phillips or Quinn, then they're utter shit, and that's exactly what my thoughts were on Michael Proctor. And all I ever remember him for is he scored 2 own goals against Chappell.
Yeah.
Like, and I know people will go, "Oh, he scored a winner against Liverpool." It's like, right, well, that's 2-1 in goals then. Like, and then did he play for as much of the next season in the Championship? I don't think he did, and because we still had like Kevin Kyle, Marcus Stewart, Darren Byfield was on loan at the time. And
do you know if you Google Proctor, as soon as you finish typing Proctor, it suggests own goals at the end of it.
I remember, in fairness, it was a depressing game, but now when I look back on it, I seem to think the Sunderland fans made the best of it. Because I think, obviously, it all went shocking in the first half, and I think they got like 3 goals in 6 minutes, and they were all own goals. And then I think we got a penalty like 85 minutes or something like that. And I think there was like a little mini pitch invasion and Mexican waves when we pulled one back. And again, this is 13. I don't remember if it did, but I just seem to remember thinking, God, we did all right in the end of that game, apart from losing our minds at half time by going like, what the hell is this? Howard, what are you doing?
Good old Howard, you and me.
I know.
Some boy. Was Howard.
He was a... Again, that was the first time I ever knew a managerial change between Phillips and Howard Wilkinson. I remember just being like, I don't even know who this guy is. And everyone said the same thing was, he's just there till it's the second in command takes over, Steve
Cottrell.
Steve Cottrell, that was, I was going to say Steve Clark, but Steve Cottrell takes over. But Howard Wilkinson did that bad a job. They sacked both of them. Which is just like, it can't even have been his fault, but it was like, it's that bad. I don't even think we could get away with putting you in charge here.
What do you think of the club like policy of like when they're hiring a head coach and they're not bringing their own staff with them and they're saying this is your assistant manager, these are your coaches? Do you think that's right, or do you think they should have more input?
I've never known like it. Everywhere.
Someone always brings someone with them, don't they?
I always bring they've always got a trusty assistant, haven't they? Like, you know, Mowbray aboard Venus in and all that sort of. They've always got in pairs.
Mick McCarthy always had what did he call him? Taff, but it was like Ian something or other. Evans, I want to say. He had him. Keane had Tony, someone. Tony basically, who was this assistant through it all. Sam Allardyce didn't bring Sammy Lee with him to us. That was the one thing I seem to remember not seeing Sammy Lee. But yeah, you'd normally have something like, apparently Will still wanted to bring most of his people. I think someone like Beale, if he's willing to work with players that he's not even signing, I think he's willing to then take the chance of, well, these guys have been here a while and know them better than me. So if we all come in as the outsiders, they're going to be against us. Whereas if I work with the coaches who are here, I can understand the players a bit better, which is probably what he's thought going into it.
Maybe gradual changes on top of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. From what he was saying in his press conference, he knows Michael Dodds, and he did say it. He tried to take Dodds to one of the clubs where he was, whether that was Rangers or whether it was KPR. But he did say he tried to pinch Dodds off us a few years ago. So
that's good. That's good that they've got a history of a relationship, though.
It's just a shame Michael Proctor's there. I mean, sorry.
Well, it might be a kid. You know what?
This might be incredibly harsh, but I want to ask for like one word answer from each of you before I go into my point here. How would you sum up Sunderland's injuries over the time you've been a fan?
Diabolical.
Mike?
One word.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Okay. So when I was watching Sunderland Till I Die, and then you look around the bench now, or even when you look back on old videos, most of the medical staff seem to be the same.
Yep.
And it always screams to me as, is that right? Like, I'm not saying that they're bad at all or anything like that, but you're sort of sitting there going, after a while, because I think the same, that we've always had injuries and it's just always an issue. And it just seems to be, there's never a thing of like, oh, we've got this guy in and he's really good on recoveries or really good on pushing people through, or he's really good at this sort of thing. And yes, injuries can happen and it might make no difference on the staff, but just someone to be like, well, hang on, he's got this type of injury, so we need to recover it a bit better this way, or don't throw him straight back into the team. It just something always seems like if you keep the same medical staff, and we've always had that consistent injury thing, you might be like, do we change it?
Well,
that's just me.
Things get stale, didn't you? When if it's not working, you look at changing things, didn't you? Like you say, we never do that.
It's like this girl I know at work said she's got really dodgy knees, and she's going to see some sort of specialist surgeon. She's like, oh, he's worked on footballers, he's done this, that, and the other. And I went, well, just check one of them's not Owen Hargreaves or something like that, because if it is, you don't bloody want them. Like, just check which footballers. If they had a long and amazing career following that injury, or is it Jack Wilshere? Just sack it off now.
Yeah. We like to sign people with glass ankles though as well. So
yeah.
Well, that can be our fault.
Used to. Them days are gone. Now we just sign people with nappies on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sirkin's got Sirkin and Elise have a lot of injury issues, and I really want to see a back line of Hume or Huggins. I don't mind which, because I think they're both great. Ballard, Elise, and Sirkin. That's what I want across the back. Or even if we played three at the back of Hume, Ballard, and Elise, and then you had Sirkin and Huggins as your wing backs, sort of for an extra bit as well. Like,
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Really want to see that at some point, but we never get it because one of them, they're just always injured. I think Elise was back training the other week, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I
didn't know if you watched when I watched the under-21s were playing during the week.
Right.
Bale was there. And he played 45 minutes, but Pembele played 45 minutes, and he looks really, really good.
So I saw someone else say that they were like, it was one of the best right-back performances they'd ever seen, and it was like...
He looks really good.
But don't forget, Stan Varga looked unbelievable in his debut game for us, and then very much coasted for the rest of it.
That's got a hell of a competition for places now, that right back, if that's the case.
At least Huggins and Hume can both play left back, though. That's what's quite good with them, and it's not like I feel like it's a forced left back either. I feel quite comfortable if we put one out there and sort of.
I hope Beale sat there with a team sheet going, is O'Nien a centre back? Should he? He doesn't look like a centre back. Should he be there?
I think Sealt's been really good in the last few games when he's played. Like he had a bit of a slow start, but I think he's been really good. I wouldn't say I'd play him and Ballard together because of potentially the speed of them, but I think he would be my choice.
My only thing with Sealt is he looked nervous. But that could have been obviously match time. So as he's grown into it, he looks a lot better. But the first few games he played some time on, I was like, ooh, he doesn't look confident on the ball at all.
I think he looks better than Triantis.
I mean, against Leeds in that back five, I thought he looked really, really good. He's probably one of our best players. I thought against Leeds when he played with him.
He put a shift in back and forth.
But then again, Harry Maguire looks better in a back five than he does in a back four. Right? You've got more cover and there's more places to hide in that type of system. Like, what is it? When Parky played with a back three for us, and when we had that little spell, and Ozturk, Willis, and whoever else the other one was, Flanagan, I think, they looked unreal. Yeah. Like for games when we were playing as a back five with Denver Hume on one side, and I can't remember the right back on the other, probably Gucci 09. Looked unreal for those 11 games.
Yeah.
That's all he had for us, Parky, 11 games. And then because we were forced to play 2 more games because of COVID, we didn't go up in the playoffs.
Yep. Good old Wigan.
Yeah, cheats.
Well, let's say so.
I don't want to play any more games. Unless it's those playoff games, I'll play them. I'm not rattled by it, everyone. It was it's recent harsh memories of, for God's sake.
We're not
It's the best our defence has looked in a long time. Being actually on the pitch and depth. The players we've got, I know we've got injuries with Elise and stuff, but he's coming back. But the depth we've got there now, and we're seeing these players coming through, it's the best our defence has looked for quite a while.
I would really love it if Sirkin could make himself fit just for the Newcastle game as well.
Yeah.
I think him and Jack Clark on that right-hand side would have a field day against Kieran Trippier at the moment.
If he's playing.
Just doubling up on him all the time. If he's playing. But then again, I think Tino Livramento's got an injury. They don't trust Lewis Hall at the moment either. So Let's
hope he's playing if it goes to penalties.
Yeah, that's true. Do we have to replay and then penalties, isn't it?
Did you see that? I mean, that wasn't a slight miss. That was just absolutely.
I haven't seen his penalty. I've seen the headed assist to Mudryk.
You shouldn't be paying any footballer that much money if they cannot hit a barn door from that distance.
Did you see the foreign commentary for Onana's penalty for Everton?
No.
What did he do? He went, I'm going to have to try and find it, but I don't want to sort of blare it down the headset. But it was like he sort of went, oh, nah. Oh, like while he was gearing up. And then he passed it straight to the goalie and he just went, oh, nah. It was really quite fun.
Love
it.
But tomorrow, do you think we're going to get a win tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, there's a game tomorrow. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Who was it? Coventry. It was 0-0 earlier on in the season.
Not beat them since 2007, 16 years ago.
2007. Oh, what was this?
0-0.
Chris Brown 1-0 at our place. No, that was 2005. So 2007, because we would have got promoted. Sorry, I'm good with my history on this one. So we'd have got promoted, got battered with 15 points, and we'd have come down, and we'd have had Roy Keane. Now, Roy Keane, I don't think he played Coventry.
Let's have a look.
Did he? No, we lost to Coventry on the opening day with Niall Quinn. We lost 2-1. Murphy scored, and then they scored 2. And then Coventry at home under Roy Keane.
The last time, actually.
Oh, don't tell me. I can think I can get it. Well, tell me what month it was in. Carlos Edwards scored 2-0.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but on here
it is. I'm telling you, it is.
The last time we've got Silver score on, and the last time we beat them here was the year 2000, and that was Emerson Tom scored the goal in the Premier League.
No, we've beaten them in 2007. I think it's 2-0 Sunderland. I don't know who scored the first one, but I think it was one of the first ones of Carlos Edwards' screamers before he did it against Birmingham, before he did it against Burnley, and and people like that. So I'm just having a look now.
Anyway, welcome to Extra Time, where you get to see the tops of all of our heads while we Google things on our phones.
Pretty much.
Podcast. Good job, it's a podcast.
While they're Googling things on their phone, has anyone ever had a takeaway delivered in a shoebox with dirty written on it? That's what I've just had.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. I've just looked it up. It was 2-0 Sunderland, so I was right. Carlos Edwards did score the second goal. Dwight York scored the first goal for us that day.
Oh, nice.
It was a Trinidad and Tobago duo that day.
It was, I remember
that's the last time we've beaten them. Those two players are now both retired, and Roy Keane doesn't manage anybody anymore.
So, yes, to be fair, Dwight York should have retired before we signed him.
Dwight York was an amazing defensive midfielder for us. I want to have that slander. When we get to my centre mid picks, you best see.
Love it. So tomorrow's is a write off them, or is it? There's a chance for Beale to make a right name for yourself.
I think we're playing well. I think Bristol City was a bit of a write off. I think it was one of those that Dodds went as far as he went, and I think it was just a bad day at the office for us. I think we'll win 1-0. We'll eke it out, and it'll be like, okay, he's off the mark, and then we'll see where we go going forward.
Nice one. Mike, I think you predicted. What did you predict last night?
2-0. And both goals will be scored by strikers that haven't scored yet.
Elias Sims and Elias Sims. No, sorry.
Yeah. Do you think you play with a striker tomorrow? I don't think he will, mate.
If he doesn't, then it's basically just announcing that Speakman's picking the team.
Well, that's what we said last night. If that's the case, then we're not Speakman. If Paul's playing, we're not Speakman's picking the team.
The only way he won't play without a striker is if Job's in that position. That's the only way I think he'll play without a striker. Technically,
I've got Ekwa tomorrow. I wouldn't play Ekwa. I've got Ekwa. But on the under 21 game during the week, Rosian obviously he scored. I think it's his first goal. He looked good, but Emir, I thought looked decent, and Ali was holding the ball up well and looked a lot more interested. Now I didn't know if that's just because Bale was there watching him, but he looked half decent.
Looked like he gave a shit.
Looked like he bothered.
For me, it's more so if the fact these training videos is all about delivering and strikers finishing, then surely he's got to put that into practice sooner rather than later and give them the game time.
That must be good. I mean, obviously, he must have done his homework and he realises that scoring goals from the striker is the issue. So that's what he's worked on this week. The rest of the side isn't really an issue. So
Yet.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I've gone for a 2-1.
Yeah. I think. Right? Yeah. I think one of us will be right.
Well, 2-0. Just to win or do to get him off. I think if he gets
that's what I might just win the game. We'll be all right. Ooh, that looks.
That is dirty, that man.
It does look dirty.
At this time,
it's because I've been Christmas shopping all through tea time. Yeah, so 2-0, definitely 2-0. Gotta win. Gotta break all these ducks against weird teams like this.
A win's a win. That's all we're hoping for. I think he's on a high now.
Just like weird teams like this, like Coventry's just some unknown weird team, just weird Coventry.
You know what I mean? The record we have against like certain teams.
Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Not Port Vale,
no.
not Torquay. Coventry,
Stanley,
weird. Yeah, Coventry, you're weird.
Just weird Coventry.
Yeah.
Right. So tomorrow it'll be Sunderland 2, weird Coventry 1. That's what
the weirdos of Coventry. Nil.
I say 2-0, but I've put a bet on for over 2.5 goals for Sunderland. So I thought 3-0
I think that's what we call hedging.
I think that's what you call stupid. No, it's not hedging.
Yeah. Philly would say 3-1 if he was here because he says 3-1 to everything.
Yeah. My defense, it was a free bet. So
that's what we should probably start doing. Actually, right, the little last-minute segment for our show. Philly obviously says 3-1 to everything. Let's actually keep track on who does better on this. And if Philly's automatic 3-1 starts to beat us every time, we know we're doing something wrong. We'll just pop up a picture of him going 3-1 and going.
Yeah,
sort of see what happens. Yeah.
Right. So Mike went for 2-0. What was yours, Conrad?
I said the winning scoreline. That's 1-0.
And I went for 2-1. Time will tell. Right.
And finish at 3-1.
And finish at 3-1.
Yeah.
I'm all for keeping scores on these predictions, though.
I really want to. I want to do it just at the end of the season to see someone like Terry have like 100 points and like Jacob be on 1. Just it would make me laugh.
But still keep the faith.
Yeah, keep the faith every week. But
right, on that note,
we're so lucky they don't listen to this show that we do and they just think we're being daft.
Yeah. Right, so this is the last one before Christmas. We'll wrap up. And
oh yes, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Everybody. And we'll see you after the new year.
At some point, yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, some point in time.
Bye-bye.